All right, we're live. Happy Wednesday. My name is Kristen Elliott from the Atlanta Community Food Bank Kaiser Permanente Learning Kitchen. I am so excited today because we are doing a first of hopefully many guests on our live production today. So we have Chef Molly here. She is a Grammy nominated producer and she has a ton of philanthropy work and she's got some great programs for girls that she's going to tell us about in just a little bit. But we have her on today to help us talk about Black heritage foods. So, welcome, Chef Molly.
Hey, Kristen, how are you? Your kitchen is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Your kitchen is also beautiful. I'm so excited for you to be here with us today.
I am too, and I will say this is the first shoot at our new test kitchen, so I'm really excited to be able to share for Black History Month and just all the wonderful things that you guys are doing with Pantry to Plate. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel it feels like a little special to be your first opportunity to cook in your kitchen. So that's
I'm
very cool.
excited. This is my other kitchen was wonderful, but this kitchen is it's very special to me, and I'm excited to share some recipes and easy recipes for people that are afraid to cook. You know, a lot of people have that theory that I can only boil water, I burn toast. You gotta woosah and have the
Wusa.
courage to cook,
Right,
right?
exactly. That's what you said. Y'all, we had a fantastic hour-long conversation yesterday and we really vibed. So I think it's going to just continue here on our live video today. So I want to introduce you all to the three ingredients we're going to be working with. So we're talking about Black heritage foods. So all of these foods have origins in West Africa. And we're going to do some little simple twists to make them healthy and simple to prepare. So we're going to be making some. Oop, that camera's not on. It's okay. No, it's fine, Julie. We're going to be working with some black eyed peas and we're going to use canned to save us some time. We're going to be making some crispy okra, and this method is going to eliminate the slime. I just prepared it, and it's like magic. They're like little okra fries. It's fantastic. And then last but not least, we're going to make a sweet potato croquette recipe straight out of George Washington Carver's cookbook. I am super excited to share this with you. So we are going to get started with Chef Molly showing us how to make this crispy okra.
Okay, so my man doesn't like okra, but I try. I try to push it on. I think one important thing that people need to know is if you've tried it once and it was slimy and gross, maybe try it again in a new way. And this is what we're doing today. I find that the tops hold a lot of the gooiness. We'll say slimy. I don't like to refer to food as slimy, but a lot of the gooiness is contained in the tops. And I'm going to show you what I do with those tops later because for me, you know, you and I talked about you eating out of the food pantry as a kid. And for me, there were times where, you know, as a young adult, I didn't have the food that I wished I had, and I had to be self sustainable. I think Black people in general have had to make something out of nothing. So, what I end up doing is, you know, people don't realize a lot of times this little top part here, guess what? That's where most of the nutrients is. It's coming right off the vine there, right? So I'm going to save those and show you what I do with those later.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear about this.
I take these and I cut them in fours because yeah, there is still some of that gooiness. You and I talked about oatmeal, and if you cook it the wrong way, it's slimy. Why?
It's slimy. It's slimy because the soluble fiber that's located in that gooey part. So if you were to just take, okay. If you were to take some plain oats and soak them in water and just let them hang out in some water, the water's going to start to give you a little bit of gooey texture. And all that is the soluble fiber from the oats coming out into the water, and it creates a binder. So when you cook the oats the way they should be cooked, whether you're doing instant in the microwave or on the stovetop, it forms a a glob, right? So it's all going to form together in a singular piece. So that is similar to how the inside of the okra works as a thickener in stews.
So yeah, so you guys see me cutting this. You might see a little bit of that slime in the middle. I'm cutting them in fours. So when we cook it, we eliminate that slime. All right. Have you already prepared yours and cut them already?
I have. I've got them all cut. I actually left my tops on, just because I left my tops on.
Well, and I didn't tell you that sometimes when you leave the tops on, most of the slime's in the tops for some reason. So in the interest of time, I actually cheated a bit and I only kept a few of these uncut because you know me, I usually when cooking on NBC or demoing on some of these other networks, I only have a few minutes. So I'm really grateful that we're sharing 30 minutes. And if you guys saw the little blip earlier, it's because I'm using my cell phone for one of the cameras, so it might be bling bling, and I'm hoping everybody thinks she's in the studio late and not call early. So, all right, so I'm cutting these in fours. I think on the recipe I put a light amount of oil. I like to use olive oil. It's expensive nowadays, so don't. Here's the one thing: don't be attached to a recipe. There's no mistake. You can use different oils. There are oils like grapeseed oil that you'll find on sale sometime because people just don't know what to do with it. And they're good for high heat. If you want to use canola, that's fine. Because our people have had such a high risk to diabetes and other things like that, I try to cook more healthy. I try to cook the things that people love and do them in a different way. So I said in the recipe, which I think, are you going to share this recipe later, Kristen?
I will. I'm going to give you all the link to where you can access it at the end of the live stream. So yes.
Okay, absolutely. So when we share the recipe, I put a light amount of oil. Now when I made mine, that's in the oven, I did double. I'm sorry. I needed it to be super crispy. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put the olive oil with my fancy.
Wait, can you make it all four?
Serious? I'm going to
Got
put
it.
a little oil on here.
My oil is in my pot and it is hot and ready to go. So I'm going to add it as soon as
we'll show yours. I just added a little olive oil. In the middle of cooking this, you may need to add a little more. You guys will look at it and say, oh, it's sticking. Because you want it on a pretty high temperature to start. So yours is hot already. I'll let you show that while I continue to talk here. So go ahead and toss those in. Yep. Perfect.
You got to
coat it really well. Yep. And once you coat it, you got it really coated. Then you just leave it, flatten it out a little bit so each piece kind of hits the griddle. Now, a lot of people are like, oh no, Molly, she burnt it. Look, she burnt it. No, we like a little char on here. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a flavor to me. I mean, I like it charred a little. In the meantime, while you're showing that, I'm showing what we're doing with these little ends, right? I'm cutting them in fours because they are kind of tough, right?
Yes.
So this is a little secret. I would have liked to throw these in with the black-eyed peas, but my honey doesn't like them. So I don't want to risk him not eating the black-eyed peas because I threw these in. But if it were just me eating them or my friend Kim Page, who really loves okra, I would throw these in after I toss them. So because they're a little bit tougher, and you got to sit that there, you guys, don't mess with it. Sometimes once those okra get in the pan, those thin cut okra, you got to leave it and let it char. Good enough over. Leave it. Is it sticking?
No, I like to touch it too much. Yes, because I'm watching.
Leave it alone. See, don't do what Kristen just did. Leave it alone because it'll char on one side. I mean, you can if you just feel like. What did we talk about yesterday? Food is therapeutic. Cooking is therapeutic for you. So if you feel like you need that's your form of yoga, get it in, girl. But in the
I think that's
meantime,
what that was.
I'm cutting these tops here. Once in a while, especially if it's from a grocery store, you might get a little mold or something on top after you wash them. I say, you guys, you got to really wash your fruits and vegetables because a lot of these have pesticides and it's not good. So I a lot of times like to use a little bit of vinegar, warm water, and lemon to clean the fruits and vegetables before, just so there's no parasites or anything on them, right? So I'm cutting these in fours, and because they're so tough, when I throw them in the pan, I'm gonna throw them in a different small saucepan with water. When the water's all the way down, I say, how much water? Just enough where they're swimming a teeny bit, right? You put everybody in the
Yeah.
field. So now you can mess with it and see if you burned it all up. What you got going on over there?
I'm over here like antsy. I'm like, I'm ready to stir it. Is she gonna tell me to stir it?
We can see the family.
Yeah, we've got some good color though. Exactly what we're looking for. We got some good brown bits.
Okay, perfect. There you go. All right, nice. Got some good brown. It's going to get more charred in the oven too, but I like to make sure I see a little bit of char on there before I throw it in the oven.
Yeah.
So that's good. So this, like I said, you're going to put it in the pan, put a little water, and then let that water boil down, and then slap a little olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and you're good to go. And then just put it to the side, and you can have it as a snack by itself, or you can throw it in with black eyed peas, or it has still will have a little bit of a crunch to it. I like textures. I don't like to just eat spinach. I don't like to
Me
just
too.
eat the Brussels sprouts. I like to throw some nuts or some, cranberries or something in there. So that's a little secret. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. See that?
Yum. I love what you're talking about, throwing the end bits into the black eyed peas. I think that's the perfect way to use the bottoms of that okra. And as you were talking about stewing them up in just a little bit of water, I was thinking about another southern dish. It's like stewed tomatoes and okra. So you could use the top. You could use the top bits with your tomatoes and eat it over rice or something like that.
Yes, ma'am.
You got me brainstorming over here. All right,
Yes,
I'm going to
ma'am.
stir it one more time.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. And then what do we do?
I broke out my cast iron just for today.
Ooh, okay.
I don't use it very often. What'd you say?
It's funny because, I'm thinking about okra. It's cooking in the studio for people like, Drake and T.I. and, the late, great Whitney Houston, Lenny Kravitz, and some of these guys. Everybody has such different taste buds. But Eric, my honey, was bringing something up to me. Maybe, I think it was even you. Once in a while, people will try something for the first time, and it'll be the wrong chef. Because now for life, they're scarred, and they don't ever want to try it because that one time they tried it and it grossed them out. So, don't be afraid to try new things and new beginnings. And if you've tried them before, try a recipe that everybody says, you know what, I don't really like okra. But this okra here, it doesn't taste slimy. I don't really like Brussels sprouts because they taste like that stanky cabbage. But guess what? The way we cook them, and that's what we'll do on the next one. The way we cook them, they're so nice. I cook them in 3 parts: crispy, the regular sautéed on the grill, and then a little bit sautéed, boiled. So, all right, how you looking? You want to throw those in the oven?
Yeah, let's do it. We got some good brown here. Did you mention in your recipe that you like to put a lid on top?
If I'm in a hurry, you guys, let me tell you, any kind of vegetable, I like it a little. People are like, oh my God, they didn't cook it all the way. Okay, don't cook and cook all your nutrients. Do not cook all your nutrients out. That's what happens when you overcook vegetables. If you want to be healthy, you got to keep some of those nutrients, and not by overboiling or overcooking. But what I like to do is when I'm in a big hurry, hot pan, be careful, you guys. Disclaimer. things like Brussels sprouts and okra, and you're using this oil, that will pop up and burn you. So just be aware that you might have to be a soldier in the kitchen and be fearless. And once in a while, you'll mess up once in a while. But when I'm in a hurry, I get that heat going really good. And then when I tell you I put a lid on it before I put the, ooh, beautiful. Before I put the lid on it, I get the lid ready because water and oil, guess what? It's a problem.
Boom. Yep.
Just do a tablespoon of water, quickly dash it in and shut the top, and it'll scare you if you're not like,
Yeah,
you know,
you're not ready for it.
You're not ready, you're in trouble, right? So that's it. So pop them in the oven. Depends on your oven. You know, when I was younger, we had a little hood oven. So that oven, you know, the temperature didn't hit right like this oven does here. So, you know, just know your oven, know where you are, you know. I like to put it over 400, like 410, 420, sometimes 430, depending. Ooh, let me see. I'm a little jelly. I'm a little jelly. I cooked earlier too. So in the interest of time, I cooked her. Look at this. Ooh, it's hot. It's really hot.
Yes.
Don't try this at home with your fingers, guys.
Unless you have fingers of steel like my mother-in-law.
Like you do, yeah. Because we cook all the time. Look how pretty. Isn't that, you see all that oil that I added? I added extra oil, guys. Don't judge. Do not judge me. Don't judge. Oh wait, two guys got out of the pool, so I'm gonna. So you hear that crunch?
Here we go.
It's crunchy.
They look like little shoestring fries.
Are we supposed to eat on camera?
Mm.
Sorry, I do it all the time.
I mean, how are folks supposed to know it's good unless you eat it?
Mm. Wow, that's really good.
That's delicious, Molly. Fantastic.
So you might want to put a little extra. Wait, did you shake the garlic powder? A little garlic powder. Forgot, guys, to tell you, we got so overzealous and excited. When they're in the pan.
I did on these, but
we were just too into each other's conversation.
We were way too into it. You're right.
So
we're talking garlic powder, right?
Salt. This has got some truffle in it. Don't judge. I'm being fancy lately. Use whatever you have, though. When you guys read a recipe and you're like, oh, I can't make it. I don't have olive oil, I have regular oil, or I don't have this salt, I only have seasoned salt. Use what you have. Okay, don't be stressed out. There's no right or wrong way. You might happen upon some fun little idea that you didn't know was going to happen, right?
Exactly.
And then black pepper. And you know what? The other thing, if you know you have health issues, don't add all the extra salt. And you know you're okay with it, you want to add a little more salt to taste, then that's what you guys will do. So salt, super easy. Salt, pepper, and garlic powder, not garlic salt. Be careful. I had a young lady call me and say, these are so salty. I said, did you use garlic salt or garlic powder? Yeah. Which one did you use? And she said, let me read it. So read your ingredients, you guys. It could be, I had somebody once use salt instead of sugar on something sweet. And it was like, are you kidding me? So read your ingredients. So there's one, you guys, down 1, 2 to go, right? I just want to keep
down 1, 2 to go. I'm ready for the next one. Are you ready for the next one?
Sorry. So since we're talking about the pantry, none of us should be ashamed about food insecurities. And, I was really grateful when I was asked to be a part of the Pantry to Plate with the Atlanta Food Bank, because there were times that I was insecure, and there are girls in our Earth Girl movement, which you talked about earlier. Sometimes when you're younger, you don't have the means. You just don't have the money and to eat, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's not just about going to get money and getting a bag. It's about feeding yourself the right things. And, some of the girls that are at the HBCUs that I was talking to, they're like, once we go get, Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever, our budget's gone. They don't realize, let Kristen and I help you guys understand that. For $20, you can eat for a week. That sounds crazy. You're spending that for two different meals at a fast food place. But if you just take, oh, I don't have time to cook or I'm stressed out, quit making excuses. Our culture has been taught to, and I'm talking about Black people. We've been taught, oh, you don't have to do, you burn up the kitchen, just go out and patronize somebody's restaurant. Okay, that's fine for special occasions, but we need to get back to putting our hands in the dirt, growing our own food, being sustainable. We got left the scraps. And that's why I like to make the scraps when what we use and not make them scrappy type meals and make them healthy meals. But, you know, talking about some of this food insecurity stuff, I feel like you guys are doing so much at the Atlanta Food Bank, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share during Black History Month. What's like your favorite thing that you're doing over there and feeding? Like, I want to know a little more while I pull out these next ingredients.
My favorite thing, something that we had to put on the back burner during COVID, was our nudges program. So we all get nudged at the grocery store. We all pick up something that's not on our list because the grocery store markets it in a way that makes us think we need it. So you know what I'm talking
Get
about.
one free.
Yes, buy one, get one free on the things you weren't already going to buy. Also, in the checkout line with the candy bars and the sodas, and they use the end caps to put like the highest sugar cereals. We're taking
They're
that.
pimping. They're pimping this food, y'all. Come on now. Speak.
Listen,
Preach.
yes.
Girl.
So we're flipping that concept. Instead of marketing the things that aren't healthy, we're trying to market the things that are healthy inside of some of our partner pantries. So I'm finally getting back into some of our pantries. I was able to go last week for the first time since COVID during a food distribution to pass out samples over at Antioch and Stone Mountain. Miss Olu, if you're watching, love you. We have such good conversations. We promoted applesauce and pumpkin because she had a lot of it, and we made pumpkin muffins that used the applesauce.
Ooh.
We got some really good feedback, and we also had some folks tell us, no, thank you, I don't like pumpkin. And I said, you know what you like, so you got it. So we're getting started back.
You know what I don't like doing is food shaming people. Eat what you eat. There are times in my life where I've eaten meat and I've enjoyed it. You know, I try my best, and it's not easily available to most people to have no antibiotics, no steroids, and things like that in their food. And when people say, Molly, if I do have a small budget, how do I eat healthy without going a whole paycheck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what
you made such great points about using the same ingredients over several meals, right? So you've got your.
That's what you and I'll do on the next episode. We'll show the same ingredients for tacos, burgers, and spaghetti, and whatever else we want to make. We'll do like 4 different meals with the same ingredients. All right, so let's chop into this. So obviously, I use a canned good because in the pantry it's easier. A lot of people do not have access to the fresh beans or the time. The kids are bothering me. Who's going to soak the beans? They're not soak the beans, but they want a pizza. So now the beans been sitting there for 2 days. So what we do is we try to make these recipes easy for you guys to understand, but super tasty. Like one of my favorite restaurants here, Miller Union, Farm to Table, they pull from all the farms around the country or around this the states here and get local stuff. So I mix local fruits and vegetables a lot of time with the canned stuff. So we've got the black eyed peas. I'll put those aside. In the interest of time, I cut the onions because I didn't, as much as I'm just so happy and would be in tears because I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this recipe. I didn't want to be crying on TV with them.
I also cried ahead of time. Maybe I was a little anxious and excited also, but
there you go.
I did the cutting ahead of time too.
So this is so simple. For my black eyed peas, and I called a girlfriend, she uses bay leaves, which I haven't heard many people do. I do fresh garlic. I do bay leaves. I do red onion because to me they have a little bit of flavor, especially when you char them a little bit. They have that really fun flavor, the grilled onion aspect. And then I do green pepper. You got to be super careful, guys, that kids aren't distracting you when you're cutting and using these sharp knives. So I'll let you go ahead and throw those ingredients. You've already got them cut with some olive
Yes.
oil into your pan to just get them a little toasty brown. And there you go.
So I'm making a bigger batch than
Fancy
Molly.
oven here. I got a fancy oven here, and I can't. I don't know why I cannot get it together and figure out how to use it right now.
It is definitely a learning curve here in this kitchen. I swear every
I
time
put
the
it on
timer
the
goes
oven,
off.
but the burners, I'm like, hey, Gina, what happened? You know what I mean? If it was a normal gas stove, but this building doesn't have gas, because this building is an old department store that was converted. So I'm really happy to have my test kitchen here.
That's awesome.
So yeah, you're sauteing those. I will try this again. See if I can get it.
So I'm making a bigger batch than Molly because I'm going to feed our food bankers over here at the food bank.
Ooh.
So Molly's original recipe is 1 can of black eyed peas to 1/4 of an onion and 1/4 of a pepper. And about 6 cloves of garlic. So don't be afraid of the garlic. I never, ever, ever follow the recipe amounts on garlic. That's just
Well, I'll
me.
tell you, garlic is one of the best cancer fighting, viruses like COVID. It's the garlic and the ginger and those fun things that
You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. You're gonna get all the flavor out of them too.
so good. Look at it. And that gets pretty brown pretty fast. See, and here's the other thing, guys. I grew up in such a huge family. Everyone's like, Molly, how do you cook for all those people in the studio? Sometimes, I mean, I remember when T.I. was doing his Trouble Man record, there'd be 40, 50 people a night sometimes, and I'd whip things out, and they just couldn't believe it. But my grandmother, who just turned 91, has a ton of offspring, but her mom, who I'm named after, Melissa, she's got over 500 offspring and growing. So I'm used to cooking for a lot of people. Now that it's just because of COVID, then Eric and I and the kids, it's been really hard to tear down these recipes that I do with all these people, but I've gotten the hang of it. So I'm glad you're going in and doing what I used to do, cooking for everybody over there. And I am cooking for one or two or just us and the kids lately. So there you go. You didn't throw the bay leaf in yet, did you?
I didn't. I actually don't have any bay leaves. I didn't get
Okay,
that for
well,
myself.
we'll just pretend you have these here.
We're
And
gonna
you don't need to
pretend
get
it.
fresh
Yep.
bay leaves. You can get the dried ones. And what I like to do, guys, is, and this is therapeutic. Like I'm over here like, ooh, I love chopping this garlic. Did you see what I did, guys? Here's a little pointer like, oh, these are so hard to get out. I like to take the cloves, tear them apart. And you guys, if you don't know, I don't take it for granted that a lot of people don't cook with spices because when I didn't have the money, I wasn't paying $1 for garlic. No, ma'am. I was using garlic powder. But when you do have, when you're blessed enough to get a piece of garlic, you just cut it in half down the middle, and then you'll get these little pods out of here. See these? And I'm going to do just because it's easier and don't hurt yourself and blame it on me. But I just take my knife, put it over flat, do a little pound. Do you do the same?
I do the same. I do the
It,
smash to get
look
it
at
out
that.
of the skin.
Boom. It just separates that nasty little outside skin that wants to stay forever. No, we separate it by doing a little. This one doesn't want to go. Boom. Look at that. Comes right out. And then I just slice it. A lot of people just, oh, I don't want to take the time. When I'm doing Italian, I do a little. I don't know if you guys ever saw the Goodfellas movie when he's like, it's about the slice. You got to really go in. And a lot of people make this an art for yourself. Oh God, the kids, listen, have some family time. Put the computers down. Say, come on, kids, I'm going to have you in here. Okay, you're too young for the knife, but you guys help me in certain ways. And how was school today? Or what's going on? You depressed? Let's think about all the blessings that we have. It's all about, your mind creates, your thoughts create your world. When you're in the kitchen, if you're Miss Scaredy Pants, like, oh, I always burn everything, you have to be creative. careful and courageous, right?
Yesterday when you said
I
that on the
got all
phone,
kinds of little, listen, even me who's been cooking for years, I got all kinds of little nicks and scratches and burns and
we all do. We all have those same little nicks
got
until
'em.
you get the hang of it. It's like your battle scars. You're like, I did this. This is how I learned how to do this.
So, boom, boom, pound. Now what? You're going to throw those beans in now that they're
Um,
browned. And
yes, yes,
don't
yes.
drain them. Don't strain them. Don't strain those. Yeah, you got the garlic. Oh, yeah, brown that a little bit. There you go. That's looking nice.
So I was saying that I'm making a bigger batch, and I always like to recommend low sodium products when possible and when accessible when it comes to cans. So I couldn't. I got mine from the grocery store, and I couldn't find a low sodium one. So just from my dietitian perspective, I decided to. I'm using 3 cans, so I decided to drain 2 of them and keep 1. So we get the liquid and the flavor from it, but we're not going too over the top with the salt, especially
And
if
that's
you
what
have
I've
blood
done.
pressure.
But what you do is you can replace it with a little bit of water or no sodium chicken broth if you do,
Yes.
or vegetable broth, no sodium. So if you're taking out that nice broth that it's been sitting in, you got to try to add something. I like that idea of rinsing the beans off if you can't find the low sodium, and then getting the no sodium other. Look at that beautiful oven. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I love this
All right,
food.
so how's it looking? Is the garlic brown? One thing you guys have to know is green pepper's going first. Why? Because it's got a lot of water in it, so you don't it doesn't burn as fast as an onion. When you throw that onion in, forget about it. It could be black in 5 seconds, and the white onions become charred so quickly. You could really. A lot of people like to throw everything at one time. You cannot be a lazy chef because all flavors aren't balanced at the same time. Sometimes I cook the onions, the garlic, the this and that separately because I want them to all have the same range of char. And you can't do that because some of them have more or less water. So watch them. How are they looking? Are they looking nice and gold?
I don't have too much brown happening over here just yet.
All
But
right.
I think we should go. Yeah, let's go ahead and.
Yeah, well, let me show you guys.
Yes.
Look at this. Can you see this? Look at how yummy. Oh, am I spilling? I think they're calling me. Hold on. I gotta get a spoon.
It's okay.
Make sure it's not poison. My grandpa used to be, let me make sure it's not poison and have a bite of your food. See that, guys? Look how pretty that is. And then what you do is once that's shut, there you go. You got your beans in, and then you got to be careful with the bay leaf because if they're dry, guess what? They will, crisp up, and you don't want to take a big bite of bay leaf. I just like to drop that in just for flavor. But then look how yummy. Do you mind if I take a bite?
Go for it.
Oatmeal.
I'm adding some water to substitute for my
There you go.
liquid, my canned liquid.
Perfect. Oh, you guys, it's so good. So, 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 so good. So this recipe also calls for salt, pepper, and uh, garlic powder as well. And like Kristen said, a lot of these cans already have sodium, so we don't have to add the salt. We don't have to add it. We just add the garlic powder, not garlic salt, and then the black pepper. And some people are pepper junkies. Even when the food's done, guess what I do? I'm a little sneak. I will put a little more pepper on top, you know what I'm saying? So good. So that's some people I don't like black eyed peas. Well, maybe you just had them regular grandma way without the pizzazz. Garlic.
I find myself sometimes in the I'm not so sure if I like them just because of the texture.
Yeah.
I think most people that I've talked to that don't like them is because they're just a little bit grainier on the inside.
They are, but when that green pepper and that basil little aroma of the basil and the red onion hit you, you might change your mind because it kind of overpowers a little bit. So I'm gonna push these little guys out of my way so they're not in the business. And you know what I was gonna do? I was going to make, you know, the sweet potato croquettes, but I decided I'd make them with you and let you teach me.
Yes. So we are 5 minutes over. So may just snip it just a little short, but I have the steps to show you. I will show you exactly what we did to make them over here. So it's no problem. All right.
5 minutes over. Are you guys mad about that? I hope not.
Nobody's mad. Nope. Nobody's mad. I'm just going to show you the final product first. Those are my...
I mashed these. I boiled these.
Yes.
I boiled them and then I drained them and then I smashed them a bit. Not too much because I like a little chunky.
Yeah.
And then what?
So what we do... Yeah, so we got our 2 eggs. So this is, just to remind everybody, this is George Washington Carver's recipe for sweet potato croquettes. And I'll share you the link where you can see a little screenshot of his actual recipe because he says you need 2 cupfuls of cooked sweet potatoes. So he says you can mash it, you can boil it, you can cook it however you want to, as long as it's done. And so here's my 2 cups of sweet potatoes, and I've got...
Can I just do it in the pan here so I don't have to dirty a dish? I try to be a little water.
Absolutely. Yep, go for it. Do that. Definitely do that. You got your pan there
so
already.
You guys, so just so you know, happy Black History Month to everybody, no matter what race you are, because we should celebrate what we bring to the table. And half the things that we bring, people don't understand what Black people have brought to this country. But this recipe is new to me. So thank you, George Washington Carver, for everything you've done and being a great example, because we need that. But also, you know, this looks yummy. I'm excited. Now what are we doing?
So I got my sweet potatoes. I'm gonna mix it with my hands because I'm gonna go straight from mixing to making them into croquettes. So I'm a big hand person. I like to cook with my hands. This is a really great opportunity to get the kiddos involved if you've got some of those hanging around. Because it's fun texture and also just hands-on, and the more chances you give your kids to participate, the more likely they'll try it. And that's science-based.
That's true.
There is science that shows that for us.
No, I'm telling you, some of my friends are like, how did you get them to eat these vegetables? Well, we went out in the garden and we picked some herbs, and then we went in the kitchen, and then they were just excited because guess what? We understand where the food comes from, and it makes them inquisitive enough to try it. Right?
Exactly.
So, okay, so did you put the panko already?
Yep, I got them mixed up. I'm making mine just like, you just make them however big you want.
Did you add the panko yet or no? Or the
we're gonna dip them in the breadcrumbs. Yeah. So the way that he worded, he said use the egg yolks in the mix inside, and then he said we're gonna dip them in egg and dip them in breadcrumbs. He didn't clarify, but I took that as we're gonna use the egg whites for the outside since we used the yolks for the inside. So that's how I did it. I
messed it all the way up and didn't read. See, y'all gotta read it. I mess up too sometimes. But guess what?
That's okay.
This will just be a different one. I put the whole egg in.
And honestly, I don't think it'll make a big difference when it comes to the cooking aspect if it's got yolk or whites both on the outside. But I think during that time, that was a great way to not waste. So you could use 2 eggs to make the whole batch of croquettes, and you just use the yolks on the inside and the whites for the outside. So that was clever. He's super clever.
So you know what I'm doing? I've got to go in a sec because we ran over, and I got to chat with my honey before he leaves. Guess what I did? Added a little pepper and garlic powder.
Yes.
Add it to everything, y'all. If you know something works for you and you know the basics, you're good to go, right?
Exactly. So
All
you're
right.
just gonna
Well, I
dip
wish
your
you
little
had
croquettes in
tasted
your
vision
egg.
and you could taste your croquettes.
Yes, yes. Let me look. I dipped one to show you.
I'm trying to use a fancy oven.
So working out for you.
The oven works, and I did have the stove on earlier.
All right, here we go. I'm going in for a croquette. I'm gonna cut it open and show the inside here.
Wait, hold on. I need to see this action. Ooh, that looks good. It looks like a.
It looks like a yes. It looks like a little pillow, and it smells so sweet.
Take a bite. Did you try it yet? I know you did. You had one earlier. Don't lie. You had one earlier though, didn't you?
I didn't. This is my first bite.
How are you? I would have cheated. Listen, thank you for having me to your pantry to plate. I'm so excited that I'm going to be able to tour your facilities and, you know, all our Earth Girls and Earth Angel helpers for our nonprofit. We're going to be feeding people like we always do. We're going to be teaching more recipes and giving you guys the ability, if you are in need, to reach out and get some food help.
Yes, you can go to our website and there's a find food section and you can type in your zip code and it will tell you what pantries are nearest to you and it'll also give you their operating hours. We're going to drop our Google Drive folder link where all of the resources are stored. We're going to put those in the chat box. And we are going to be seeing Molly again. So I want everyone to say thank you for showing up. We really enjoyed having you, and you taught us some new things about using the tops of okra and all kinds of stuff. So really appreciate you.
Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for joining, everyone, and thanks for having me. Talk to you soon. And happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.